Okay, are you ready, Nicole? All right. So thank you everybody for joining us today for Yoga with the Veterans Yoga Project. So today we have here with us Nicole Turnbloom, and she is going to be leading us in today's yoga session. Um, Nicole has been with the Veterans Yoga Project for some time, and she has been practicing yoga for over 16 years. So I know that she's amazing, and you guys are going to be in wonderful hands. I also wanted to let everybody know that we do have some additional planned Veteran Yoga Project dates already set. So we have May 11th at 5 p.m., May 20th at 1 p.m., June 15th at 1 p.m., and June 24th June 24th at 5 p.m. So if you enjoy this yoga, as I know you will, please do join us at the future ones as well. And if you have any questions for Nicole or I, please include those in the chat. If not, I encourage everybody to go to the veteransyogaproject.org and view their website. They have lots of different things always happening, not only here in partnership with Calvet, but they do lots of different types of yoga, and all of that is available on their website. So without further ado, Nicole, I will go ahead and hand everything off to you. Let me go ahead and stop sharing so you can view her. And there you go. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I'm just going to make everything a little bigger so I can see. Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone. All right. So I invite you to first begin by finding a place for yourself that feels comfortable. And we're going to start there. I invite you to find whatever that might be. So that might be a blanket, that might be a block, you might even be on a chair today. So deciding what that might be for you. And then once you come into that place, we're just going to take the shoulders all the way up and exhale them down. So all the burden, all the effort that may or may not have taken to get here, we'll inhale and just release some of that. You can even, it's almost like you're opening your hands up and releasing whatever you're holding in your hands, and exhaling as you release the hands and the shoulders down. And then one more time, inhaling up and releasing the hands all the way back down. And then from here, I invite you to just bring your attention to just one shoulder and just roll that shoulder all the way around. And again, as much as comfortable for you. And then bringing an inhale and an exhale as you bring the shoulder behind you. Now, the next time you bring the shoulder up, I invite you to press the palm into the floor as you exhale and take the gaze towards the opposite side. Take 3 breaths here. Just arriving in the room, arriving in the legs, the feet, the shoulders, letting the gaze be soft, and feeling the breath moving across the front of the chest, and releasing the shoulder blade down towards the floor. And coming back to center, and you just take a moment, see if you can just feel if there's been any difference in the front of the neck and the back of the shoulders. And then from here, we'll do the same thing on the opposite side, just making a circle with the shoulder, going forward, going up, and going back. Inhaling as you come forward, exhaling as you go back. Good. And then the next time that you bring the shoulder up, as you inhale, exhale, and let the shoulder come down, and let the gaze go over to the side. And you can again close the eyes if you'd like, or let the gaze be soft as you focus your attention on the area in the front of the neck, breathing in along from the jawline to the top of the shoulder, and then releasing the shoulder blade down the back and the palm into the hand or floor, into the leg or floor. And coming all the way back to center when you're ready. Making sure you take a full inhale and exhale here. And coming back to center. Good. And then from here, let's go ahead and bring our hands to the front of our chest. And we're going to go ahead and either bring the palms together or have one hand on top of the other. And I invite you to find your own heartbeat here. And you might have to move your hands around in order to find that place. But see if you can find that place where you feel your heartbeat. And just notice what that's like today. And breathing in and breathing out and just noticing that rhythm of the heart and all the work that it does for us all the time. So we have the physical sensation of the heart. And then we also have the heart center. So our center for compassion and love, which will hopefully include yourself. And then the compassion and love that we share with others. And then from here, we're going to take the top hand and we're going to slide it. And just it's that idea of sharing this space as we open that space out. And yet one hand stays here for ourselves. And then as we come all the way back, we slide the opposite hand out, taking that hand out to the side. And then drawing that hand all the way back to that center. And a couple more times on each side, inhaling, and maybe you let the gaze go into the hand as it comes out to the side and back to the center. And then again, out to the side, taking the shoulder back behind you and coming back into center. And a couple more times on each side, breathing in and breathing out and finding the center ground as we expand out and come back in. And the next time that you have both hands on the chest, so you've done an even amount on both sides, we're going to slide both hands out like wings and take the hands all the way out to the sides, taking the gaze up towards the ceiling and then exhaling as we round the spine and stretch the fingers out in front of us. And we'll do that 4 more times as we inhale and sweep the hands out to the sides and then exhale as you let the hands come forward as if we could all touch each other. Wouldn't that be nice? And then exhale, and then inhale as you come all the way back and letting the chest and the throat have a bit of space, especially if you've been on the computer all day, give them the opposite to bring some balance. And then again, forward and then back all the way. And then this next time, I invite you to give yourself a hug because you came to class today. Thank you so much. So give yourself a little hug. Good. Take another breath here and just notice what that feels like as you have your hands on your back, as you have your shoulders down. Good, again, feel yourself sitting on the floor. Good. And then we'll release the hands all the way down to the legs. And let's go ahead and come onto our hands and knees here. And please make sure with the idea of self-compassion here that you make sure that you are protecting your knees and that you have some protection for your wrists as well. You can always come onto your forearms or fold your blanket and have your palms at the edge of the blanket if you have, especially again, if you've been on the computer a lot, these wrists might be a little sore. And then again, same thing with your knees. Once you find that comfortable position, make sure that your palms are spread out evenly. Spread out your fingers, and I invite you to go ahead and tap the toes as if it was going to rain, which we so need in here in California. So tap those toes out, and then go ahead and press the top of the toes into the floor and just stretch the back of the feet out. Good. Take another breath all along the back of the feet, and then tap them again. And then we're going to go ahead and press the toes into the floor and just stretch the whole back of the feet, maybe the Achilles tendon slightly as you maybe press the heel towards the wall behind you. Maybe a little bit in the calf, and then release. And then one more time as we tap the toes one more time. Good. And then spread out the toes as you press them into the floor and stretch through the bottom of the feet. Please don't stretch so hard that either you're not breathing or you notice you're gripping in your jaw or your shoulders. Good. And then releasing those feet comfortably. And then just notice if as you release the feet, if there's a ripple anywhere else in the body. From here, we're going to begin to breathe into the spine. As you inhale, let the spine rise up and let the head come down. And as you exhale, let the spine come down and the chin gently lift as the shoulders come down and you stretch the belly towards the floor. And keep going at your own pace, seeing if you can find a sense of flow through the spine. And as you're doing this, you might notice that there's 1 or 2 spots maybe for you, for your spine, and you might want to just take a breath into that one spot. So sometimes for me, it's right behind my upper back. So I might want to breathe in and just take an extra little breath there, and then keep going, and exhale all the way out. And maybe there's another spot that comes up for you. So keep breathing in and out. So as much as you can, you're restoring a sense of flow along the spine. Good. Good, and please let the head just be the tail end of that movement as opposed to leading. Let the base of the spine be the leader and the head be the tail. So in some ways you're switching positions of the tailbone and the head. Good. And then the next time you come to center, let's go ahead and walk the hands out a little bit, maybe about 1.5 to 2 palms forward. I'm going to exhale and press the fingertips into the floor and just get a nice stretch through the shoulders, especially, again, if you've been on the computers a lot. Stretch through the shoulders and bring the head down towards the floor so that the front of my heart is coming in towards the mat. And you might get a stretch right in between the shoulder blades. Please have the buttocks up a little bit high and in between the knee and the ankle joint. I'm going to take a couple breaths here, breathing in and breathing out. Stretching out through the armpits. Noticing the sensation under the fingertips. You might even rub your fingers on the mat. Just notice how sticky it is, or maybe the texture, or maybe it's smooth, it's cool or warm. Good. And then coming all the way back up, walking the hands just a teeny bit in as we come forward and come into an upward facing dog. And then as for a variation of that, and exhale and come back into a child's pose all the way this time, letting the buttocks come towards the heels. If they don't make it, that's okay. Come as halfway, and you can always place a blanket on top of your calves. Let's go back and forth about 6 more times, inhaling and coming forward, and exhaling and coming back. Inhaling and expanding and letting the chest lift and the shoulders come back. Exhaling as you rest. Breathing all the way out. Let the initiation of the breath begin the movement. So that you're moving for the whole inhale. You may choose to take another additional breath here before you exhale and come all the way back for the entire exhale. Take another breath here if you'd like, or continue moving forward and back. Inhaling and exhaling. And inhaling. Exhaling. Good. And then the next time that you exhale, we're just going to pause right here. And then we're just going to walk gently both the right and the left hand over to the right side and just stretch all around the right side of the body. Let the breath be easeful. And just notice the connection of the palm all the way down to the bottom of the rib cage and from the rib cage out to the side of the hip. And coming back to center when you're ready, pausing there and noticing any differences. And then walking the hands to the opposite side. And again, breathing along here, along the side body into the palm. And from the side body all the way down to the hip. Notice the knees, the shins, the feet on the floor. Notice where you might be holding tension here. And bring your breath there. And then coming all the way back to center. Let's come back onto those hands and knees, and let's take the right leg back. And we'll just make a little circle on the ball or on the very tiptoes. And let that circle kind of spiral through the toes, up the ankle, through the knees, and into the hip. Perfect. And coming back to center. And then I invite you to press the toes into the floor, similarly as we did earlier. But this time you're coming a little more onto the ball of the foot as you get a stretch through the back of the calf and the back and the hamstring. And coming forward and coming back. And coming forward and coming back. Just being there for the entire process and making sure that you keep the backdrop of compassion in mind as you move, so that you're only moving in a way that works for you, that feels most nourishing for you. Good. And then the next time that you come back, pause here. Good. And then we're going to come back to center so that I'm on my toes, and I'm going to walk my toes, if this is possible, all the way out to about the side of my mat. And maybe it just comes just a little bit onto your mat if that works for you. Here's where you might want a block or a blanket. I'm going to place that block or blanket on the left hand, and I'm going to bring the right hand up onto the leg. What you don't want to feel here is you're collapsing here to the floor, so give yourself some height so that you can have some nice length along the spine. So either with the opposite palm on the blanket, on the floor, or on a block, we'll place the right hand on the right leg. I'm going to begin to turn away and then turn all the way back to the floor. As you exhale, turn. And as you inhale, come back to the center. And one more time, turning all the way. And then coming back to the center. And then this last time, we'll turn all the way. And then you can stay here with the hand on top of the leg, or I invite you to let it float up. Feeling the fingertips or the palm on the floor and the fingertips extended up towards the floor. Up towards the ceiling. And the shoulder blades down, lengthening through the crown of the head and through the tailbone, feeling the weight evenly distributed on the front foot and from the knee all the way to the back toes. Take another breath, and then when you're ready, sliding all the way back down. Good, and then removing that block if it's there or not. Bringing the hands back down. We're gonna walk that foot all the way back out, slide the foot out and straight back. Pause here, and if you would like, you can take up the opposite arm, and we'll hold here for 3 breaths. Good. Then at the end of the breath, I'm going to touch the toe and the fingertips down towards the floor and bring them up one more time, and if it's possible, reach back. If not, don't worry. You can just keep the hand extended and the leg extended. Otherwise, you can hutch onto the big toe or the foot, or maybe even the pant leg. Take a breath here as you let the opposite shoulder open up towards the ceiling, and you let a little bit of weight be pushed away from the fingers as you're drawing the fingers in towards the palm. Good, take another breath, and then release. Extending the arm and the leg, bringing the arm and the knee back down, and exhaling and taking a rest here for 3 breaths. Good. At the end of your next exhale, we'll come all the way back up, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So bring the opposite foot up. And we'll begin to make a little circle here on the ball or on the very tips of the toes. See if you can notice each one of your toes as they make contact with the mat. And then I invite you to feel that spiral move from the toes to the ankle, perhaps up to the knee, and maybe up into the hip. Good. And bringing the foot back to the floor, and this time extending the leg out. So the leg is long or straight now. And now I'm pressing into the ball of the foot as I stretch out through the back of the leg. Inhale as you're coming forward and release that. And exhale as you come back. Release any tension that you might be feeling in the jaw or in the neck. And keep going forward and back. Going forward on an inhale and exhaling and come back, releasing any tension through the back of the calf, into the toes, to the back underside of the foot. Good. Good. And then when you're ready, coming back to center. And then we're going to bend that knee and bring that leg all the way out to the side of the mat. And then just step that foot in. And again, here's where you might want a blanket or a block. Or you can have your hand on the floor. I'm going to have one hand on either on top of the blanket or the block. And then one hand on this time on the left leg. So left arm, left leg, my knee is right over my ankle. My foot is resting and spread out along the floor. I'm going to inhale here and lengthen through the spine, relax the shoulders, and on your next exhale, you'll turn your torso into your leg and then come all the way back to center. And you'll keep doing that with the breath as you exhale and you turn, gaining some perspective, and then inhaling it as you come back to center. Turning and coming back. And then turning away from the leg, and then coming all the way back. And in this next time, we're going to come up one more time. So again, inhale here, relax the shoulders. As you exhale, we're going to turn, and then you have the choice to keep the hand on top of the leg or let the arm float up towards the ceiling. If that works for you, again, you can always have the hand behind your back if that works better for you. So my arm doesn't like to cooperate on this side, so it's going behind my back instead. And as you turn around, see if you can find this width across the chest and the hands, like you could reach beyond the floor and towards the ceiling, even if your shoulder is here. See if you can reach the shoulder. If your hands are able to come up, then you can reach through your hands and find the stability across the foot and through the bottom knee. When you're ready, bring that hand all the way back down. Turning, bringing both hands back down to the floor, removing a block or blanket if you have it there, or keeping it there if you need to, scooching that foot out so that it's off of your mat, and then sliding the leg all the way back. Let it come in a straight line from the hip. Pause there, and then if this works for you, take up the opposite arm. You come here and you hold here for 3 breaths. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and just being attentive of the process. With self-compassion as our backdrop. Good, another breath. And then maybe tapping them down. And then you have the choice again to either come all the way up with both arms and leg, or you can reach the hand back towards the toe, the foot, or even the pant leg, wherever you can hold. Pause there, make sure you have a good hold first before you extend the knee to the back wall and let the chest open. So you have an opening across the body from the shoulder to the knee. And then connecting the foot and the hand, or the foot and your pant leg, whatever's reaching and touching. Take another breath, and then release all the way out, and just find that length again. Maybe that length even feels more expansive after the folding, and bringing the hand and the knee. What a relief to have everything land on the floor, yes. And then taking the hands out forward. And exhale, and we'll come and rest here, and then we'll come up to standing. Go ahead and bring your head down to the floor and take 3 full breaths there. Pardon me, I did forgot to turn off my phone. Good. So take a full breath here. Just notice any differences, maybe in the arms, maybe in the legs, maybe in the spine. Good. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and bring the hands forward. Again, come onto those lovely toes. Now we're using all these toes in different ways today. So now we're going to spread those toes out and feel like you could unpeel an orange. So instead of peeling an orange, you're bringing the peel back down towards the orange. So we're going to peel the foot towards the mat. So feeling each one of the toes, and then just gently make sure the knees stay bent for a little while so that you get a nice stretch out of the back. Keep the knees bent, and then come all the way back down again. And then try that again, where you're just having both feet evenly drawing the toes in towards the floor, and then you're coming all the way back down. So notice this, you're probably working the arms a little bit more doing this way. And then this last time, we're going to come all the way over, peel those feet, let them spread out, and then go ahead and straighten the legs, drawing the heels towards the floor. So hopefully with that stretch, you can reach them a little closer to the mat. We'll just go a little bit to the right, maybe a little bit to the left. You might even look underneath the hand. Good. And then coming back to center, and I invite you to look in between your front hands, and you can either step your hands there, or you can walk them there. So I'm just going to walk my hands, and then I'm going to leave my hands where they are, and then draw my hands towards the top of my shins. Good. Pause here, rest, open and close the jaw, the eyes. Good. Shake the head out maybe, but gently. And then to come up so that you don't have any pressure on the low back, I would advise coming up halfway and see if you can get the spine to be parallel with the floor. As you do so, feel the feet connect to the floor, and then also feel your legs engage. Press into the top of the thigh, and then look how my spine is straight, 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 and now I'm just going to hinge from my hip. So there's no pressure on my low spine at all. Good. Once you come to standing, I invite you to inhale and bring the hands out to the sides. And then exhale and bring them all the way down. And we'll do that 3 more times. I think my head is lost, so I'm going to adjust for a moment. And then exhale and bring the hands back down to the sides. Inhale 1 more time and bring the hands out, stretching each finger towards one wall, towards the other, and then exhaling and coming all the way back. Now from here, we're just going to come into a mountain. We'll stay in mountain, and then we'll go ahead and do some standing from here. So let's just move forward and back, just noticing all the feet. And you might even go ahead and bring the weight all the way towards your toes, and just have the heels be really light. And just notice that sensation. And then see if you can bring your weight all the way into the heels and maybe lift your toes. And notice the sensation there. You might feel a greater sensation across the top of the chest. So keep going. Just here. Pardon me. Good. Sorry about that. Good. And then let's go ahead and come to the center. And now let's go ahead and roll kind of onto the outsides of the feet. And just notice the sensation there. Notice where you might feel that in another part of your body. And then as you roll the feet down, I invite you to maybe step the feet out just a little bit and try to roll the legs inward, as if someone had a band and they were wrapping it around your thighs. And just notice the sensation there. And you might notice the arch. There's not much touching the floor. Perhaps it's just the ball of the big foot, the ball of the big toe, I'm sorry, and part of the heel, maybe the big toe. And you'll feel the arch kind of arching over the floor, depending on the shape of your feet. And then come all the way back. And I invite you to find the whole, now hopefully you have an idea of the whole feet in your mind. And let's go ahead and either close your eyes here if you'd like, or just allow your gaze to soften as you imagine that you could draw a line from the outside of the right foot all the way to the little toe. And then coming to the ball of the little toe and drawing that line all the way across to the ball of the big toe. And then drawing a line from the ball of the big toe all the way along the inside of the foot to the heel. And completing that rectangle by drawing a line from across the heel, from the inside to the outside. And I invite you to notice that leg, that foot, Notice if there's any difference on that side of the body just by adjusting your attention to your foot. Good, and now let's go to the other side. So draw your attention to the opposite foot. And we'll be drawing a line from the inside of the ball of the foot all the way across. Good, and let that line spread. You might even let the line go back and forth. And then drawing a line from the ball of the big toe all the way to the outside of the foot, to the heel, to the back heel, but still on the outside of the heel. And then across the heel. And then we're doing it a little slightly different on this side. And then go ahead from the inside of the heel all the way along the arch of the foot so that we land back at the ball of the little toe. Perfect. Good. Let's just take 3 breaths here. Taking the shoulders up and behind us, and maybe bringing the hands on the body and just again feeling that heart and connecting to that for ourselves and for those around us, and also for the so many people that are suffering around the world. Pausing and noticing and feeling without having a sense of overwhelm, but feeling the feet on the floor and having a sense of groundedness and safety and stability as you stand here and you're able to feel that sense of compassion. And maybe you're able to even let it spread and let the elbows come down and the chest lift, the shoulders relax. The bottom of the rib cage comes down towards the waist, maybe even your sit bones take one little step away from each other. Good. Take another breath. Easily. Release it easily. Good. And then bringing the hands out back down to your sides, and we'll step the feet out. Good. And let's go ahead and have the right foot, or whichever foot for you, pointed straight. And we'll have the back foot turning it in slightly so that I have a straight line from my ankle to my knee all the way into my hip. Good. And like I'm noticing here that maybe I might want a little bigger stance. So kind of come into warrior. Notice, is this a stance that feels good for me? Can I still be connected to the back leg as I bend the front knee? And that might be you want a longer stance. It might be that you want to step that foot back and it feels a little more safe and stable with a smaller stance. I invite you to find what that is for yourself right now. Good. And then once you have that place where that feels good to you, go ahead and keep the legs straight. And we're just going to do the same thing we did before. Notice if you're leaning, see if you can come straight through, right through the crown of the head, right down to the floor, as if the tailbone could keep extending. And then as we inhale, we're just going to, again, do the same thing we did standing, lifting the arms, and then exhaling and letting them come down. Lifting the arms again on an inhale, and this time letting the gaze go over the front hand. And then exhaling as you bring the hands down. And this time we're going to inhale and bend the front knee so we actually come into the full warrior pose, making sure that the knee is going right over towards the second toe. Engage the legs, draw everything in towards the center of your mat and center of the spine as you lift up. Let the gaze go over to the side, recognizing the stuff that we've been through in the past, the future that we don't know yet, and staying present right here through the center, through the heart line, through the spine. Good. Pausing here. And let's go ahead and open the hands up on an inhale. And then just let the fingers spread out and maybe bring them together on the exhale. And inhale, spreading the hands out. And exhale, drawing the fingers together. And one more time, inhaling and spreading the hands out. And drawing the fingertips back together. And then maybe looking forward, and we're going to bend this elbow and either place the hand or the forearm on the top of the leg. And I'm going to let this arm swing all the way down and then come up to a comfortable place for myself. It might be here. It might be here. It might be back behind your back, please. Again, you're using compassion here. So for myself, for this side, this arm needs to come behind my back. That's where it feels. That's where I feel like I'm honoring where I am today. Again, in that moment, I'm taking a moment of the warrior into the side angle. And again, I'm looking maybe up towards the ceiling. I'm feeling all of the feet. I'm uncurling the toes. I'm unfurling the tension, letting the breath move in and down and up and out. Good, another breath here. Smooth and present. And pressing into that front foot, toning down slightly. I'm gonna let this top hand slide down and then let it come all the way back up, and imagine all those beautiful ancestors in my family. Maybe not all of them are lovely, but still, they're pulling you back up to draw you back up into that warrior, where again, you know what's behind you. We don't know what's in the future, but we're gonna stay rooted in the present moment. Good, pausing there. And then coming all the way up, releasing the hands as ever comfortable for you, and then bringing them back down. We'll go ahead and bring the feet parallel. Let's just go ahead and heel and toe or step the feet together. Take a moment here, pause, come back into that mountain for 2 breaths and see if there's been any shifts or changes for you. Does it feel any different? Do those visualizations help? Do those metaphors enhance your practice? Or are they distracting? Good. Good. So let's go ahead and step the feet out again. This time we'll come onto the other side. So again, I'm going to turn, left foot is going straight, right foot is turned in slightly, and I'm lining up from the ankle to the knee to the hip. So you don't want to let this hip curve inward. You want everything to be in a nice straight line. Good. And both legs are straight and centered. I'm inhaling in and taking the arms up, and exhaling and letting them float down. This is just like a curtain. The inhale and the breath comes in and the curtain lifts off the window. And as you exhale, it comes back towards the windowsill. And one more time with such ease and grace, it lifts up and it comes down. And this time we're going to lift all the way up, take the gaze. And we're coming slightly indifferent on the side and then bending the knee. And again, it's right over. And then pausing and coming out and just making sure, is that okay for you? Does that feel as good as the other side? Or maybe it feels different. So make sure you adjust that foot so it's right where it needs to be. And then see, okay, if that's right. And then we're going to go ahead and lift the arms up one more time and then bend the knee and see if you can find that sense of being centered. While again, we can't control what has happened in the past. Maybe we can control our relationship to it and how we respond to it. And the same thing happens in the future. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, but we have choice on how we respond. Good. Letting all of the feet be involved in, letting the shoulders come down. And then again, we're going to inhale the hands and spread the fingers out. And then just draw the fingers together on an exhale. Letting the gaze be soft over the front hand. And exhale out. And again, inhaling in, spreading the fingers out, spreading the webbing out so you can get maybe a little bit of air in between those fingers, and then exhaling as you bring the fingertips together. Good. And then coming back to center, and we're going to bend the inside arm or palm, bringing it towards the top of the leg. I'm just going to swing that arm down again gracefully, and then let the arm come up wherever feels comfortable for me. So it might be here, might be all the way overhead, it might be right here at my low back. I'm pausing here, feeling the feet and being attentive to the moment. Even when it's challenging, can we be attentive and calm and have a sense of groundingness and stability, even as we maybe move a little outside of our comfort zone? Good. At the end of the next exhale, we're going to swing that hand down, and again, let all of those ancestors lift you back up so that there's a sense of ease as you come back into the moment in this warrior. Take the hands up overhead, straighten the front leg, and then we'll turn both feet so that they're parallel, bringing the hands to your sides. Let's go ahead and bring the feet together. We'll take another 3 breaths here in mountain. So standing up and noticing as that mountain changed, as how you stand on your feet changed. And you might even want to bring your hands anywhere back again to that heart center. Maybe the heart's beating a little faster now. Maybe not. And see if you can sense the sense of flow of now the breath moving in and out of you instead of the arms or the legs. Let the breath flow in into the mountain, into the strong, gracious, safe, and stable mountain. Good. One more breath in, maybe letting the eyes just soften. Good. And then releasing the hands. And let's kind of just let everything shake out. We'll shake the leg out. Good. And we'll shake the other leg out. And then let's go ahead and shake the arm out. Good, from holding. I'll just let it move freely. Good. And come back to center. And then maybe letting the other arm shake out and around. Good. And then coming back to center. And let's go ahead and I'm going to face this way just so I'll still remain on my mat. And just going to take my hands again all the way up to the sides again. And I'm going to take them all the way back down. And I'm just going to maybe come down halfway and check in with my back. Is that okay? And then you can decide if you want to go ahead and keep going or if you want to bend the knees and come down in stages. So please choose the thing that works best for your back. Good. And we'll step the right and the left foot, the right and the left hand forward, the right and the left foot back. And just take 3 more breaths here in this downward facing dog. Notice, has there been any shifts for you? See if you can press away from the floor. And then let the inside of the arms come out, and maybe the shoulders come just slightly towards the ears. So you have nice width across the front of the chest and across the upper back. Breathe all the way into the hands, all the way down out through the feet. All the way in through the crown of the head, all the way out through the tailbone. And then feeling the whole body breathe in and out. And then gently bringing those knees down towards the floor. We'll do one last thing here. We're just going to go ahead and take the right hand and draw that right hand again up to that heart. And I'm just going to let that hand swing all the way across and up. Good. And then I'm going to exhale and bring that hand down and thread it through the arm and the leg. So maybe I'll go sideways and thread it through the arm and the leg. Just let that arm slide all the way through as you bring your head down towards the floor. You might want a blanket here. Remember, your own sense of self-compassion is recognizing, appreciating where you are and meeting yourself where you are. Not where you want to be, not where you might be tomorrow or an hour from now, but where you are right now. Good. And lengthening out through the fingertips, softening in the palms. Good. And then drawing that hand all the way back in. Just take a little wiggle here. Notice if there's any shifts from that posture. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So this time I'm just going to shift just a little bit. So I'm going to draw the hand again up towards my heart. Just with a sense of appreciation there. And then slide the hand across the heart as if I'm going to paint the wall. Good, I'm just spreading the hand out. I could paint the wall with the color of my heart. And then I'm going to exhale and bring the hand down and thread it between the arm and the leg. And continue sliding that hand along the floor as you bring the head to the mat. You might want to turn the palm upward and just let the open palm soften. If you want a little more, you can press into the fingertips and come further onto the back of the head. Good. And then getting ready to come out from here, I'm going to press into the hand. Slide this hand all the way back through. And then just take one more time into that child's pose as we come towards the end of class, bringing the head down towards the floor. If it's possible, you might want to try bringing your hands together with the pinky touching and the thumbs facing towards the ceiling of the and your forehead in between you. If that doesn't quite reach, something else I really like to do is take that blanket and kind of fold it in a triangle. And then from here, I have my head rest here, and I have my elbows rest, and my hands come down, and it lifts you up just a little bit, but having the blanket and something for your head to rest on is so good for anxiety. Just give that head a break. So we'll just be here for a couple more breaths, whether or not you choose to use the blanket or your head can rest peacefully on the floor. Good, letting your shoulders relax and fold out into the mat or into the blanket. Feeling the palms gently touching. Letting the head and neck and jaw relax. Good. And then going ahead and taking one more full breath there, and then decide when you are ready to come out the next 1 to 3 breaths. And using your fingertips and pressing into your fingertips as you come all the way up. We switch the legs to our side. I'm just going to put the feet to my right. And here's again where you can use a blanket. So my feet are going to my right, and I'm just going to sit on the blanket so that my hips are even. And I'm going to go ahead and turn to the right with my feet to the left. So take a pause there. And just one more. Letting the right shoulder come up and back. Seeing if you can bring your attention here now at the very back of the heart. As if you could have a little ball and you could just let that whole ball spread out along the back. Top of the spine, the back, down the spine, and in every corner, in every direction. Good. Take another breath. And then coming all the way back to center. And taking these feet out in front of you, we'll slip off that blanket and we'll come over to the opposite side, letting the feet come to the side. And again, sitting on the edge of the blanket. Again, you want to sit on the edge of the blanket so that my hips are even. Good, and then pausing here and again, getting nice and tall. Good. And then going ahead and letting the hand is going to cross the body, touch the knee, and I'm going to slowly turn over to the side. And you decide where you want that hand to be. On the blanket, on the mat, but let your twist be one with compassion. Let it be a twist of ease and love. Good. Take another full breath here. And again, see if you can take your breath right along the back of the heart. And see here, is there a place where you can just soften here? And that might mean you come out of the twist a little bit. Or maybe you go into it a little more. Okay. And then when you're ready, you come all the way back to center. Let's go ahead and move the blanket. And we'll go ahead and come onto our backs now. So as you come onto your backs, make sure you're about in the middle of your mat. As you come all the way onto your blocks, I just invite you to draw the legs in towards the chest. Good. And then maybe making a little circle here. Good. And seeing maybe if you'd like to take one more twist to the right. Letting both knees go over. Inhaling and maybe letting both knees go over to the left. And coming all the way back to center. And going ahead and letting the right leg spread all the way out, the left leg spread all the way out. We're just going to wiggle the right leg, wiggle the left leg, wiggle the right arm, and wiggle the left arm. Good. And just take a break here. Good. And then from here, as you lay here, notice if there's something that, again, with compassion, can you come to your resting in Shavasana with even moving towards comfort and love. And maybe that means you want a blanket for underneath your head. Perhaps that means you have a roll underneath your knees. If you're at home, you might even choose to have your legs up the wall or your calves on a chair. But take a moment and see if you can have this deep listening to your body and say, what is it that would be the most nourishing for you right now? And then take the next little bit to come into that position. So as you come into that position, I'm going to sit up. Good. And then as you come into that comfortable position for yourself, I invite you again, either bringing your attention or bringing your hands, maybe one hand over the heart and one hand over the belly, and let's just again feel the breath flowing in and flowing out. And then I invite you to just notice this happening without you having to control it or direct it. You're simply noticing the inhale, noticing your body being breathed. And notice as you exhale out all the way. Notice there's just a gentle pause at the end of that exhale. See if you can stay there for a moment and then let the next inhale come in and out. And then this next time, I invite you to count that inhale, whatever it is for you. And then count the exhale. And then on the next inhale, breathing in gently, fully. And then as you exhale out, see if you can add one heartbeat to that exhale. I invite you on that next inhale, again, counting that inhale if that works for you. And then on the exhale, add one more heartbeat. Again, really taking either one more breath and letting this be the last time that you count your exhale. And then I invite you to just really keep the hands where they are or release them onto the floor and just breathe naturally. And allow your body to be supported by the floor. Allow your spine and your head to be supported by the floor. Allow the muscles around your spine, the back, upper back, the lower back, all along the scalp, the face, the jaw. And allowing the limbs to be supported by the floor. The right shoulder all the way down to the palm. The left shoulder all the way down to the palm. The right hip all the way down to the heel. the left hip all the way down to the heel, the whole body. Supported, grounded, resting, rejuvenating. I invite you next to bring your attention into that heart center again. Let it reside there for a moment. And I invite you to hear what whisper you might hear from your heart. Maybe it's a single word or a phrase. Repeating that phrase to yourself, and if you hear no words, then I invite you to just reside in that space. If you would like to stay here longer, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, be just noticing the room that you're in with your eyes closed, maybe noting one thing in that room, one neutral object, and then bringing yourself to your own body, laying along the floor or in a chair, or maybe a combination of both. And then maybe opening your eyes, closing your eyes, and then deciding when you are ready to open your eyes. Bringing some little movements into your fingers and toes. If you're choosing to come up, if you decide to stay longer, I wish you peace, and I wish you much love for yourself and those around you. If you're coming up to sitting, I invite you to just take a moment as you come up, bringing your hands again back to that heart, maybe remembering that whisper and perhaps committing to listen to that and take it into your week. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you so much, Nicole. That was amazing. I know everybody enjoyed this. I wanted to remind everybody to please go to the veteransyogaproject.org and view everything they have on their website. There's lots of amazing things that this organization does. And we just absolutely love this, Nicole. It was delightful. So thank you so much. I also included the dates of future yoga sessions that we have planned with the organization. So please feel free to check it out, register, and we look forward to seeing everybody soon. Thank you so much, Nicole.
Thank you. And I'll be here for an extra 5 minutes if anyone had